Hello. All right. So, I'm going to start a different puzzle. I don't know if you can see that. I don't think so. There we go. Something like that. Anyway, it is nothing really that interesting, except it's interesting to me. It is a scene of different doors and the door knockers. I got it of all places at Sobeys. So, give me 1 second. It is a 550 piece puzzle. I did have another puzzle on the go. However, it was all in grayscale and I just could not get it done. Hang on 1 second. I just couldn't get it done. I'm really frustrated today and my brain is really tired today. So to be honest, a lot of dust with this one. To be honest, I just decided to switch up the puzzle. And yeah, I could sit here and cry about all of the lost time that I spent on the other one, but really it wasn't that long. And I don't know, I guess I'm kind of in the mentality now that if I don't have to endure any type of stress that I don't want to, well, darn it, I'm not going to. You know, so in my last puzzle video, which I did not complete, I talked about dealing with pressure. And I kind of rambled on and on and on, not even really making sense. But I guess the thing that I wish people would realize is that if you know someone with poor mental health, things that may seem so obsolete and easy to you will almost crush someone else. Things that they used to be able to do with not a care in the world, they may have problems with now. I know I do. And like everything I say they, it's more so me. But just, you know, if you know someone in your own life that has mental health problems, well, and you know, I made a video the other day and it's funny. I wish that when we talk about mental health, we could just talk about how is our health. No distinction, because I don't know how mental health is ever supposed to lose the stigma if we keep separating it. You know what I mean? So I think I will slowly try to transition to just talking about health, but there will be a strong focus on mental health. So I don't know, like to break it up just for the point of it, but you know, at some point, mental health to me, at some point needs to become the top priority for government, for finances, for, you know, whatever area, because it is the one that can totally change your thought process, your resiliency, your passion, your drive, your physical life. It can certainly take that away. So, you know, I just think that it deserves the most absolute importance. But going back to the pressure discussion, I guess that it's hard because since I've decided to take a dramatic focus into my own mental health, I get it. Some people are not into that. Like, I absolutely get it. But I think they think that I'm the old me, the one who could handle a lot of pressure, the one that, you know, would put someone else's needs ahead of their own. But I tell you, right now, I have no no interest in putting someone else's needs ahead of my own. I think that that is perhaps how I kind of landed in this position. Instead of saying, you know, what I really wanted to say, or instead of doing what I really wanted to do, you know, kind of worrying, well, you know, I can take it, but I don't want someone else to feel crappy. Because, like, you know, there's a lot of stuff that you guys don't know, and that's because I like to keep boundaries. But you know, I've had a challenging life, and wow, it's really raining. I've had a challenging life, and I've had some areas of challenge in my life, and why did I start talking about that? And you know, I know that I can take a lot. I have in the past. I've taken more emotional stress than many people I know. And if you're saying not me, well, I don't know you. So, but I'm done. One, I'm done for apologizing for breathing. Two, I'm done trying to make you feel better, even though you have made me feel worse. I don't have to do that anymore. That I have accepted that it is not my responsibility to make you feel better for disappointing me. You have to live with the fact that you disappointed me. Let's just let that sit there for a minute. I am not someone who enjoys disappointing people. I think that it's actually quite interesting that I have developed a channel on the internet, a platform, if you will, because I'm sure that I already know. I've been asked some stuff by strangers, and it's just like one guy asked me, he like wanted to know everything about me, and he was like, tell me your deepest secrets, and like, dude, whoa, like, what are you actually talking about? And I tried, like, cause, you know, I feel like I'm a nice person, so, you know, perhaps it's more people-pleasing than a nice person, and I tried to just be like, you know, all in good time, you know, blah, blah. And just the unrelenting, wouldn't stop, wouldn't listen. Oh gosh, I hate when people don't listen. Oh, I hate that. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And so honestly, I had to block them because just wouldn't stop with the intrusive, you know, and just trying to force something that wasn't there. And so it's funny because, you know, there's been a few times where I'm like, do I want to commit to the online thing? And, you know, but at the same time, I do like just sitting here and kind of talking about how I feel about things, because I think that everything I talk about is very relatable. Maybe it's not relatable for you. Well, guess what? Aren't you lucky? However, I have been getting some positive feedback from some viewers, and so those positive feedback moments will make me go on, because I feel better doing this. And then if one other person is like, oh, that video helped, or that perspective helped, or, you know, whatever, well, then you got to keep going, because it's just the best, man. Like, helping someone feel a little bit better was always my personal priority when I worked in medicine. And I don't mean like, oh, I took their pain away, or oh, I helped with the physical pressure of their ailment. No, I just mean like, you know, could I make you smile for 2 seconds? 2 seconds, could I get you to smile? And you know, I'd like to think that I did a pretty good job at that. And that was just my own personal directive. It wasn't directed from anyone or any institution. It was just something that I like to do. So Okay, let me get sorted here. Well, you know, it's funny. Usually I'm really ticked off about the rain, but today I'm like, yay, I don't have to go water everything. I do keep quite a big garden, and so of course you gotta do the watering and all that. Okay, so what was I saying? I forget where I was kind of in that sentence, nonetheless. All right, so door stoppers. Let's see what we can get today. And by we, I mean I, because I'm trying to drop the we's. I think I'm doing a lot better on dropping the we's though. At least from the past videos. Okay, so let's see. Okay, good. Maybe the top one. Okay, still recording, yes. Okay. Okay, so what else can I talk about? There's the top corner piece, dude. I will say that this quality of puzzle I'm not into. The pieces, not a heck of a lot of dust as I thought there would be, but they're just like that cheap kind of, you know, really bendy. So not a good idea probably if you have like kids or anybody who's not going to respect the, I don't know, fragility of the puzzle, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what other word to use. Okay. There's green right there. Okay, what else can I talk about? I will have to go in a little bit. I do have a counseling appointment, so I am looking forward to that, which will be good. Don't know where that other thing is. Maybe that one. Okay. You know what's one thing that I always want to say, but I never seem to get around to saying, is what I think is very interesting to hear is when people talk to you about what they could or could not handle. And I certainly used to say, oh, yes, you could. Like when people would say, oh, I could, you know, being a paramedic, oh, I could never do that. Yeah, actually you could. You would just have to get trained. And by training, I mean conditioned. Like it's not training, it's changing the way your brain perceives things. You know, not as dramatic as like when everyone's running out, you're running in, but basically that's kind of how it is, because you can't get scared, you can't this, you can't, like you can, but it's going to be that, I think it's going to be that much harder for you to do the job if you're sitting there scared. I had one incident and yeah, that scared me good. Scared me well, I don't know what the right word is, but scared me good, scared me well. That scared me, period. So yeah, it's kind of interesting that way, I guess. But I will say that I always used to, when people would say, you know, what would they say? Like, oh, you know, I could, you know, and I think I would always, you know, make them feel better, say, oh, yes, you could, blah, blah. But you know what I will say? Where am I at here? You know what I will say is that perhaps some of you are right. I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm just like, let's call it for what it is. Perhaps some of you are right, and perhaps some of you could not handle blah, 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 whatever it may be. Well, I know personally, that makes me really uncomfortable to know that there's something I could never do. Do you know what I mean? Knowing that something has a power over you, because like that's what I hear. Oh, I could never, blah, blah. Oh, okay, so that is something that you identify as holding you back. And it's not like a judgment or a mean thing for me to notice, but I could never live my life like that, knowing that something has power over me like that. Ooh, that honestly just wouldn't sit well with me. So perhaps that's why I'm kind of drawn to things that like other people are not drawn to. I don't know. I'm sure there's a plethora of reasons, but I will say that I'm kind of done singing that tune of, when someone, it's the same thing. Someone says, how are you? What do you say? Good. How are you? But I used to always like try and make people feel better. I'm like, oh yes, you could, blah, 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 blah. But you know what? Kind of done that because, I'm starting to agree. I'm starting to think that some of you couldn't cut it, blah, 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 or some of you couldn't, da, 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 da. Like, I just think that, listen, if you already are doubting yourself, well, like your subconscious is listening to everything you're saying. So it took me a long time to realize that, and it's taking me even longer to learn how to change the way I speak about myself, but I'm certainly going to give it the college try. And because I don't ever, like, I already sit in the land of fear, and I don't like it here. Well, you know how it was? So in one video I posted, I talk about getting hit on at the beach, and I hate that. I absolutely hate it. I don't think it's a place, like if it's reciprocated, like if it's a vibe and you can tell it's a vibe, like that's one thing, you know what I mean? But just to like go to the beach and like try to pick someone up, I think is just so like disgusting, because it's just like, you're sitting there and you're trying to relax, or you're trying to grieve, or you're trying to read, or you're trying to something. You know what you're not trying to do is get picked up. You're not trying to get hit on. So that's kind of my thing, is like, it's just so frustrating because, like you're in a swimsuit, so you may feel a little bit awkward. And then, I'm always worried. Now, this doesn't happen a lot. It just happened the other day, 2 days in a row, actually. One guy was really nice, but he was like, oh, sorry to bother you, blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, like what, whatever, it is what it is. But the other guy, holy sweet Jesus, like just would not like take the hint. But then it's hard because I feel in my head that if I say, if I just come out and be like, no, I'm worried that, this person's going to have a poor reaction and then I'm going to end up hurt. Now, some of you may think, oh, like that's such overkill and she's so arrogant and blah, blah. No, that's because of the fact that I've done domestics. That's because of the fact that, I have some experience with some of the stuff that I speak of. So I'm not being arrogant. Trust me, I'm being smart is what I'm being. It's a crappy way to have to live your life in terms of, being scared that something bad is about to happen. However, right now, that is the only way I can operate day to day to day, is just to always kind of have a little bit of a guard up Maybe someday it'll go, but at the same time, like, you know, when you interact with someone and they give you a bad feeling in your belly, you should like lean into that feeling, because that is your gut. That is your gut saying, run. And you got to lean into that, because your subconscious, I so struggle with saying that word. Your subconscious is always watching. And even though you're, you know, may not understand or even may not agree with me, okay, whatever, just listen to the perspective. So if your conscience, you know, maybe is a little bit fooled for the minute, trust me, your subconscious will quickly kick in and be like, and, you know, imply to you, get out of here now. And I think that's where the fight, flight, or freeze phenomenon comes in. I think that personally, I have experience with that fight, flight, or freeze. And I think that what do I think? I think that it's a lot harder to get out of a situation when you're like down the rabbit hole versus, you know, well, it's like, and this is such a dramatic shift, but it's like, I remember Oprah Winfrey, they had on a, like a kidnapping, not police, but they had on like, you know, going through safety protocols and whatnot. And I'll never forget, for some reason, this stuck in my head. But I remember it was either Oprah or the person that she was interviewing on. And they said, never let them take you to a second location. Never, never, never. Now, I don't have any experience in that kind of stuff, and I hope I never do. Nonetheless, I am not an idiot, and I realize that these types of things happen all the time. So I would rather always kind of keep my brain a little bit engaged, so that when there are times that I'm like, I'm starting to feel a little bit odd or a little bit off or what have you, I can say, oh, do you trust your gut? Because I do. I trust my gut immensely. And my gut has kept me very safe. Well, it kept me safe for 10 years. Because, you know, that's being a medic, that's a job that certainly has its complications and challenges. So that being said, I just think that it's really important to try and always kind of lean into your gut. And anyway, yeah, so it's just so not funny, haha, but just, gosh, this one man just, like, I didn't know if he thought we were going to run away together or like what was going to happen, but it was just like, dude, I just want to be at the beach, like, just leave me be. Anyway, some people just can't, just don't get it, eh? Let me see this puzzle. Where's the red? It's funny with this one, there's no poster. I never use the poster, but I feel like I kind of want the poster now. Okay, that. Okay, that's good actually. And then this goes, where do you go? Oh, way down. Okay. I think, yep, okay. So I'm missing a few edge pieces, but that's okay. I don't think they're, whoops. Now what is that? Oh, this may dramatically stop because, okay, let me see if I can fix something before the camera stops. Let's see. This is probably going to shut off. If it does, it does. There's a little symbol on my screen. I think it's about the temperature, but it's like, it's not even that hot in here, so I don't know. Well, it's not hot in the house, I can tell you that. Okay. Now, let's pick a color instead of doing grayscale. All right, I'm leaning into the green for now, I think. So pick up all the Kelly green, if you will. Funny, I always feel like when I'm not filming, I have a ton of stuff to say, and then when I'm filming, like doing these videos, I feel like I like clam up and have nothing to say. It's so irritating. And I know I certainly could script these episodes, or at least have, or at least have some bullet points, but I kind of like seeing where my brain's at, like, you know, what am I rattled by? What am I going to talk about? What's going to like make me stammer and be forgetful? What's going to trigger me? You know, like all of these what. So yeah. Okay. Trying to see if you can see that. I think you can. All right. Yeah, I'm not a fan. I have done this style of puzzle before, but I'm really not a fan of the quality of it. I just find it, the pieces are almost like, how do I say it? Like, there's just not a weight to them, and I don't personally like that, but to each their own, I guess. Oh, that's down here. Okay. Yeah, it's just, I honestly am so upset about the beach the other day. Like, oh my gosh, it just like, and it's like, what do you do? Like, do you leave the beach because someone else is making you uncomfortable? Or should the other person have enough sense as an adult to realize that they are making another human being very uncomfortable and they should just stop? Like, why isn't that more of a thing? You know what I mean? Because it becomes so awkward. I find it becomes so awkward to kind of stick up for yourself. And I don't think I'm a weakling at all. I think that history has taught women that they have to be very careful whose advances they are and are not interested in. And it's exhausting because it just is. It's the worst. Instead of so you would think, oh, you're going to go to the beach and you're going to relax. Well, you can't relax when you feel someone's eyes on you. You can't relax when you worry that if you go to the bathroom alone, if you know what I mean, like it wasn't as dramatic in that specific moment as that, but it's something that's always kind of playing in the back of my mind, of course, like I'm not an idiot. So it makes it harder to, oh, it goes up there. It makes it harder to be able to relax. And then I think the crappy thing is then I come home and I just feel off for like 2 or 3 days, because I just like, I feel like if I would have said to this person, like, you know, do you want to like run away together? They would have. And it's just like, dude, like, just like, I just want to relax at the beach on my own without having to like, you know, I don't know. Yeah, anyway, it totally sucked for me. And I don't like saying that about the beach. That's my safe space. Like that's where I like to go and relax, and you know, and like, gosh, living in a cold climate, it's not like we get this weather all the time, so gotta like, you know, enjoy it while it's here. Can't enjoy it when it's here if, you know, friggin' someone will not leave you alone. It's just like, dude, like, and anyway, and I promise you that I'm not like, you know, thinking someone was into me when they weren't. Because actually I did go up to some other people and started chit-chatting just to figure out, you know, if this guy was here all the time and blah, blah. And they actually said to me they were unsure if the advances were wanted or not. And I was like, oh no, they are so unwanted. And what was nice is they actually offered to like, you know, help me out. And I was like, oh, you know what? I appreciate that. But again, I just felt like it was going to make everything worse. So even though I was uncomfortable, I had to try and instill confidence to someone else that no, I was okay, because I felt that if I made a big deal